Festival. Oh, thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much for this accommodation. It just means the world. And I've been so excited about this and so happy to be here. This is very exciting. And it is
Good.
going to be weird. Now I'm feeling the sense of like you see my face, but I see windows. uh, so first of all, everybody's lunches look amazing. You know what's going to have to happen? Y'all are going to have to do things like cheer or shout or make noises or be like, yeah, instead of nodding or things like
Okay.
that.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, lunch. Uh, so thanks for coming. Real quick, I want to explain like what I plan on us doing. I'm going to talk for a bit, but then I really want to open it up if folks have questions and want to, dig deep. And when we do ask those questions, I want to create a zone where you can not worry about asking them in a sensitive or correct way, because sometimes folks don't ask because they're nervous about how it's going to be interpreted, and I understand that. Ooh, chat questions too. Yeah, hi to all the Zoom folks, all the folks over on the Zoom. Hi. Yeah, so when we get to that part, please feel free to ask any kinds of questions that you want. That's how we grow. And so my name is TuckerNoir. That's my drag name. And my real person life name is Noelle August. And I'm really excited to be doing this at the Women's Festival at Zero to Fierce. I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece of inclusion that the Playhouse is doing. It means so much. Why would like a drag king come to a women's festival? Actually, I want to answer that in a second. What is a drag king? What is drag? Very quickly, let's define our terms. Drag, as we tend to define it around here, is the artistic and experimental exploration of gender. So with that, anybody can do drag. Anybody can portray any kind of gender they want in drag. It historically, it's a very misogynistic world. So a lot of men, and I'm going to use the phrase cis men, that's CIS. And cis, when you are like mapping, when you're doing like a map and you have a river, cis means on the same side of the river and trans means on the other side of the river. So cis in our terms means that you identify with the gender that you were assigned at birth. So whatever they put on your birth certificate, that's what that you agree with that. Trans means that whatever they put on your birth certificate, there's a disagreement with that. And that can mean a lot of different things. But cis men, people who were born male and still identify male, were the keepers of drag. And it was that they even said that the roots of drag was during the Elizabethan era and during the Elizabethan era, and said, oh, well, women couldn't perform on stage, so we had to do all the roles, and that's our wonderful history. And I'm like, can we go back to how women weren't allowed on stage? And even in drag now, it is very difficult to carve out a space for yourself as a female identified person, or as a trans person or a non-binary person. Um, uh, I, in my life, identify as a woman, but I identify as a non-binary woman, meaning that I don't feel that my womanhood cleanly fits into the stereotypes of femininity. And I feel very much at my core, there's a neutrality about me, that in my soul, that if I close my eyes and I envision my like higher self, it's just there is no gender at play. And so, but my role as a woman in society is important, and I deeply identify with that, and I'm going to get into more of that in a little bit. But so I use she her pronouns outside of drag. I use he him pronouns inside of drag. Also, though, I feel comfortable with folks saying the things they say. I don't feel super rigid about it, where other people it's really more important to them. So drag kinging, in my sense, in my world, is portraying this masculine character. And I started doing it. It's been almost 9 years, y'all. It's been almost 9 years. I'm like, yeah, thank you. And I'm a little bit like, part of me is like, what the hell have you been doing for 9 years? And then the other part, I mean, it's just like a blur. Like I can't, it's just bizarre. So, but when I started doing it, it was very, I was a different person. I was a mother of five, married to a school teacher in Red Bluff. I don't know if any of y'all have been to Red Bluff, but it's not a place. Yeah. They do not like their drag kings in Red Bluff. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I have experienced in my world, and I'm not going to get into any sort of like triggering, details or anything, but femininity, my femininity has been the source of violence for me throughout my life, very consistently. Not the femininity itself, but it's been attacked, right? Thoroughly throughout my life. And so when I was drawn to drag kinging, I rented a crappy suit and I did this one, I was going to do it one time. And there was something about walking through the bar where I didn't turn sideways when I passed somebody. I didn't go like this when I passed somebody. I could look up and could make eye contact without being afraid of inviting unwanted attention. I could, if somebody sat next to me, I didn't like do that. I took up the space I took up, and that was totally new to me. That had never, ever, ever been a way of being that I had ever been felt allowed to do. And so moving through space as someone who was unburdened, I couldn't imagine the woman that I am and the woman that I was at that time. I could not imagine myself as a strong person, a valuable person, a a person who was really like worth the space she took up. And so it was interesting because seeing Tucker, I liked Tucker, and seeing him, I felt like, well, gosh, if he's great, I think he's really great. Well, then I can't be complete garbage, that would not line up. And so pretending to be confident got me into my brain through a side door. And it walking with like confident steps and like I said, making eye contact, walking squarely through changed my brain chemistry. It changed the way that I saw myself in context of the world. So that's been interesting. Over the last several years, my purpose for doing drag has changed, where I feel really confident in all of that now, and I feel like I have a healthy self perspective. But now for me, drag is kind of threefold. It's about projecting a really healthy masculinity into the world. Like if I'm gonna be a person who's putting some kind of masculine energy into the world, then it needs to be really good, the best that I can muster. And because we need examples, right? We need more and more examples. We need men to see other men being generous and being soft and being empathetic and being understanding and being respectful and safe. Like we need to see that more. And so if I have a moment in manhood, that's a responsibility I feel. Then the second piece with that is, if you like me, if you trust me and you like me, you can't hate your queer nephew. If you there's so many, like, I appeal to moms. I have a lot of mom fans. And it's been interesting because so many parents have, over the last 9 years, I've spoken at so many schools and churches and church groups, and all the time parents are coming up to me with this like, okay, you're not horrible, so that must mean that not all queer people are like, diseased and coming for your children. So it it's been really important to me to help like make it safer. Like I said, I'm a mother of 5, and it's vital to me that kids feel yeah, feel safe. And then I wrote down another one. Oh yeah, yeah, that's it. Projecting a masculinity that has integrated femininity shamelessly. So making an example of a man, for me, it's important that Tucker holds on to he, him pronouns and is identified as a man so that you can see like it, men can sometimes wear lipstick and it's not a thing. I'll tell you the story. So one time at a show, late at night, we're out in front of the club and people are, in a circle talking. We're all talking, and this man comes like barreling in, and I always say he Kool-Aid man the whole thing, the whole circle. He just like whoa, and he was like, he said, oh, I didn't know. He's like, I had no idea that men could look like that and still just be men. I thought I just had to wear these stupid t-shirt and jeans, and I hate this. I had no idea. And it was super cute. And people say all kinds of things after shows. So some of it you take to heart and some of it you don't. But then 6 months later, he Kool-Aid manned me again at a totally different venue. And he was like, I'm doing it. Look, I've been doing it. And he still had on like a black t-shirt and black jeans, but he had thrown over a button down that was flower print. And his t-shirt had a flower print pocket. And he's like, it's been amazing. And to feel like, right? And to feel like there isn't a lot of space of men going, it doesn't matter. Flowers are amazing. Who wouldn't want to put flowers on? Sparkles are cool. It's amazing. And because femininity, and this is kind of one of the reasons I feel like it's important for somebody like me to be at an event like this, is because I truly believe that it's femininity, feminine energy all around in any body that is attacked. Men who display feminine qualities are often attacked, shunned. Um, uh, Folks who are non-binary, that have a history of being a woman, or have that experience. It's it's uh it's important that as we think about feminism and as we think about women's rights, that we include, first of all, trans women. Trans women are women. The idea that like men are going to dress up and get you in the bathroom, well, that's still about men. That's not about trans women. That's still men. Nobody is going to go through a life of this sort of like hell, just to hide out in a bathroom. Like, rule breakers weren't waiting for a law to be like, well, now I can go and do that. That's not how that works. Trans women are women. And when we exclude folks that either were born female or identify with elements of femininity, when we exclude them, we're casting them out to the wolves, right? We're like putting them out to the thing that we are trying to recover from. We're like, y'all are on your own, like, and that's not okay. Like, we there's so much room. There's so much room within womanhood and femininity, for everybody. And so, as you're thinking about women, have you noticed the X in the word women? A lot of times you'll see that. Um, and yeah, and it's really, it's just a way to remember that, first of all, we're not derivative of men. That's not what we are. And the womanhood encompasses a lot of people, and it's really important that it does. Um, I have more to say, but I have things to say about motherhood and womanhood. So I'm going to pause for a second while I take a sip of coffee and ask if y'all have any questions so far.
I have a question about the X in woman, because
About the what?
the X in woman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because 2 years ago we made the decision to put the X in woman for our festival,
Yeah.
with the understanding that it was more trans inclusive. and encompass women and women, and you know, anyone who identifies in their body as a woman,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now there's been some people this year, especially, I think I've gotten 3 emails saying that is trans exclusive and trans people dislike it. And then, you know, I researched with my daughter, who's 22, who keeps me honest. And
Yeah.
she
Right.
said, it's not that cut and dry. She said,
Yeah.
it's not one or the other. Everybody has different ways that they think about the X and woman.
Yeah.
So, should we put it in our festival or should we not? Tucker,
Right.
you tell me.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, what a good question. Because it really is, that is really it. And there's so much more. Even if you back up, it's like, can you use only the word woman? You know, even with the X, I feel like one of the things that's happening in our culture right now is that we're evolving faster than our language, and we're evolving in such an organic way that there isn't cohesive consensus about what is right and what is not with language. There's a lot of discussion about it. And one of the things that we've done with Club Triangle, whenever we've done something, and I'll talk about what the heck that is in a minute, when we have done we've said things like women, femmes, and queers, you know, things like that. I think that, have you gotten feedback from people that support the X, that are queer or trans?
I just like to back up one moment when we talk about
Yep.
language. I would like to
Yep.
say that it's my child, and they said that to me because
Oh,
that
yes.
is like that they want me to use, and I keep forgetting because.
Oh, gotcha.
That's
yeah.
Sorry. Anyways, I don't
great.
know. They are the people who are responding are trans or within the trans world. They are emails that I receive, and they don't identify one way or the other, but they say this is what the thing is.
Yeah. Yeah.
From my
yeah.
POV.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I think that it's probably a bigger conversation, and may take having some, maybe like even a little sit down. Open Door has like a trans task force that kind of like meets and talks about all things related to Open Door with that. And I wonder if there's like a few people, trusted people, maybe with some different opinions, that might be able to, you know, kind of weigh in on that. Because it is hard. I don't identify as trans. And so it is hard to sort of say, for sure, you know, how other people feel. I am going to go close that window because that dog, his name is Jeff, and he's driving me crazy. One moment.
Entered it. You can put me the host. Make me the host again, or I just I can't turn on our camera, or else turn on the camera and then you can show the group.
No, I'm not even in anymore.
You're not even, but somebody is on the Playhouse's.
Okay, let me.
Other questions? Any other questions about that kind of stuff?
I just can't turn on the camera today.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to figure. Yeah. But you don't have to be too close though. It picks it up pretty well.
Okay. Can you hear me okay, Tucker?
Yeah.
So, I don't know if this categorizes a question, comment, or just me talking to you, but
trying to give her. Oh my God, it's my fault. I was trying to give. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Zoom is.
I'm gonna leave the meeting.